Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Syracuse. I'm back!
Wow.
And that's Robert
By
Harding.
popular demand, ladies
No,
and
not
gentlemen.
really. By desperation. Nobody else wanted to do it. And with that in mind, I want to say thank you to Jonathan Monfiletto, who filled in for me last week. And I heard it was a thrilling NASCAR, conversation.
Yeah.
I actually did watch some of it. I got to admit, I started watching it, then I nodded off a little bit, and then I woke up just for the end to hear you say, it's going to be great to have Chris back next week. Did you say that? I think you said that right, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
You may have been dreaming in
I
your
may have
head.
been dreaming, I know.
But we had to reach our Italian quota. We had to replace one.
Oh, there we go, all right.
So we covered it.
Oh, we had to replace one paisan with another.
That's
There
right.
we go. I'm not offended. Takes a lot more to offend me than that, folks. Anyways, Robert and I are going to discuss some sports topics that are unfortunately not NASCAR related. So if you enjoyed the NASCAR talk last week, you're out of luck this week. This is a NASCAR-free video. And with that in mind, we're going to get into, I think, the biggest sports story of the year so far. I think, in my opinion.
Of the year?
Of the year so far. The United States and the World Cup.
Wow.
We have had so much drama in this World Cup. Think about it. We've had amazing finishes, okay? We've had biting. Okay, come on. A player, that what's his name?
Luis Suarez.
Yeah, Suarez. For Uruguay, right?
Uruguay.
Yes, Uruguay. He bites an Italian player. He bites him.
In the shoulder.
In the shoulder. And the guy's like trying to show off, like, look at the bite marks here. I mean, come on, man. You don't get this in American sports. Well, except for Mike Tyson, boxing, Evander Holyfield. But I mean, that's, in team sports, not individual sports, okay? It's just been a great World Cup. I've been watching, obviously I've watched all the American games because I'm an American, damn it. And I watch, when our national team plays, I watch it. Seriously. I don't care if it's hockey.
Good.
I don't care if it's women's basketball.
There you go.
I don't care if it's Davis Cup tennis. If it's on and it's the United States, I watch it.
Davis Cup.
I'm a good citizen, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It could even be table tennis.
That's interesting.
It could be jarts. If there was a national, international jarts competition, I'm watching it.
Badminton?
Yeah, even badminton. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'm thrilled the United States made it through the group of death. I think when they beat Ghana in the first game, I think a lot of people realized, like, yeah, they've got a good chance to advance. They got through that opening game in one piece, and sure enough, they should have beat Portugal. That was very disappointing. I think that's one of the most disappointing, the most disappointment I've had after a loss. It wasn't even a loss; it was a tie, but it felt like a loss.
Yeah.
Since a Dolphins loss, really, I think I haven't felt like this since the Dolphins have lost some games in the last seconds. That's how tough it was, and you felt for these guys. They played their tails off. They played hard, and you felt bad that they came away with a tie. But they gave Germany a good game too. Although I don't think either team was really putting everything out there. I think they were kind of not fooling around, but they were just they weren't giving 100%.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want anybody to get hurt in the bad field with the wet field and everything. And they knew that realistically both of them were going to advance. So I think they kind of pulled it in a little bit, reined it in a little bit. So, but the important thing is the United States advances. They play Belgium on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to this Tuesday at 4 o'clock. We'll have it on in the newsroom, I hope.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, we'll have it on, and we'll be cheering. I'm just thrilled for these guys. It seems like at the beginning of the World Cup, the big story was Jürgen Klinsmann, the U.S. coach, saying that he said that the United States had no chance of winning the World Cup, and a lot of people took that as like, oh, he's so negative. How can he say that about his team? But I think it was motivation. I think it was great coaching to say something like that to motivate his players. And I think when he's behind closed door with his players, he's honest with them that. I think even the American players would tell you, like, yeah, we'd love to win it, but realistically, I mean, we're not in the class of, say, Brazil or Argentina or even Germany. I mean, or the Netherlands, some of the best teams in the world there. That being said, I mean, you look at countries that are already gone home, England, Italy. I mean, these are traditional soccer powers, and they're going home, and we're advancing. So I think Klingman's done a great job, and I know he's got a contract extension. He'll be back in 2018. I like this guy. I think he's a great coach, and I think he's good for the U.S. program. I think it's good to have a European who knows soccer better than most Americans at the helm of our national team. And I'm just really thrilled. I'm enjoying it. Robert's probably in shock here because he knows that I'm not a big soccer fan. But
I am speechless.
It is speechless. I'm not letting him get a word in edgewise anyways. But I'm really enjoying the World Cup. I'm going to try to watch some games over the weekend. And, of of course, we'll be watching the United States on Tuesday. Robert, what are your impressions so far?
I think this, I'm not surprised by how well this team has done. You know, Klinsman's a great coach, and, you know, really I think this is where, you know, the coaching job he's done and the team building job that he's done really has shown, you know, in this World Cup. You know, the decision to leave Landon Donovan off the World Cup team, boy, you know, I mean, in hindsight, it's fine. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's some times where you look and say, oh, you know, they could have used more depth here, and they could have used Landon Donovan. But at the same time, you know, you look at the talent that they've put on the field, and they have some very good players out there. You know, Michael Bradley, you know, there's a lot of criticisms of him, but he's a key piece of that team. Of course, you have Clint Dempsey, you know, their leading goal scorer, I believe, to this point, and, you know, arguably their best player. And, you know, with Tim Howard back there in goal, that's nice.
Yeah, but you know something? That one goal that he gave up against Germany, it was off a rebound. I thought he could have held on to that maybe. Maybe it was hit too hard and he couldn't hold on to it and he tried to and he couldn't.
I don't think he saw it, was the problem.
I mean, he had it right in his hands, and then it literally, like, he let it bounce off his hands, like, yeah, I'm just going to let this bounce off my hands, and then one of my guys is going to get it and clear it, or, you know, and then went right to a German player who just really just launched it, and yeah, I think you're right, he didn't even see it.
Yeah.
But, you know, irregardless, losing the Germany 1-0, I don't think there's no disgrace in that. No, I think it's admirable.
And I think at that stage, you know, where they were, you know, I don't think either of those teams mailed it in.
Right.
But, you know, both of those teams controlled their own destiny. You know, the U.S., in order to not advance, you know, Ghana had to win. But Ghana had to win, you know.
By a certain number of goals.
By a certain number of goals, right. And, you know, with the Portugal side, you know, Portugal needed to win but score, you know, like 10 goals.
Yeah, they had a 4-goal. I mean, they lost 4-0 to Germany in the
Yeah.
first game, and that really sank their boat.
Yeah. So, you know, really the United States, you know, win, lose, or draw, controlled their own destiny, and, you know, they played well enough. You know, certainly they would have liked to come home with a, you know, even a tie or a victory. But, you know, they get in on the next round, and that's the most important thing. You know, you're not going to win anything in pool play. You know, now's the time where you start looking ahead, and, you know, you start, you know, one win and then you advance and you move through the tournament. So it's good. They're in it.
I
They're
mean,
in it to win it.
and they're playing Belgium, and Belgium went through their group undefeated. You know, but
Much weaker group.
But you got to feel that we could beat Belgium. You just have to feel that coming out of this group, that as competitive as it was, as tough as it was, we can beat Belgium, man. We can. We're just gonna roll over them like waffles, right? No.
Oh.
Of all the Belgians watching this video, I apologize.
Oh.
Crickets. Yeah. So, I mean, really, I think we can beat Belgium. I really want to think that we can. And, you know, if we beat them, we're in the quarterfinals. I think the best the U.S. has ever done, at least in the modern World Cup, has gone to the quarterfinals.
I believe
you know, I believe in 2002 we went to the quarters, and I think we got knocked out by Mexico. Either Mexico or
South
maybe
Korea.
or Poland or
Something like
yeah, some country that nobody really cares about because you know it's America. I know, but
Edgy
again,
shooter in his
I mean,
first
wouldn't it
show.
be, I mean, like I said, if this team could make it down to the final 8, I think that's great. I mean, I mean, really, this is all, to me, it's house money now. This is gravy, okay? You qualified first. Remember, we didn't qualify for 40 years, okay? And now for this first time ever, we've made it to the round of the round of death, the knockout round. Yeah, the knockout round, twice in a row. Excuse my lack of soccer expertise here.
Come on, Chris.
Robert forgives me, right? Yeah. But we've made it now twice to the knockout round, and that's the first time that's ever happened. And like I said, soccer in America is definitely it's becoming more popular. I don't think.
Clearly,
I mean, look,
you're getting into
the
it.
person who's so negative on soccer for so long, you know. I will admit it is more popular in America. I mean, you have the Premier League, and you have the Champions League, and you have all these European leagues now on American television live, and the ratings are there because if they weren't, then they wouldn't be going after this stuff. So it's obvious soccer is growing in popularity in America. I don't think it'll ever be as competitive as the NFL. I'm sorry, you know. I'll tell you, call me crazy, but I think it could be as popular as baseball within the next 20 years. That's my hunch.
You're talking about just the professional leagues.
Yeah, I mean, like the TV ratings and the interest
Right.
level. I think it'll be up there with baseball within the next 20 years. But to me, the NFL is, I don't want to say it's untouchable because there's no such thing and things can change over time. But I just want to think that soccer is an ascending sport. And like I said, the World Cup, you got to love it. It's great. It's fun. Go USA. I believe, we all believe, right? So, and I guess we'll wrap it up unless there's anything else you want to add about the World Cup.
No,
Okay.
that's it.
Robert wants to talk about the NBA draft,
Yeah.
which was last night.
Absolutely.
And first thing I want to say about the NBA draft is some of these guys, they got to learn how to dress. Some of those suits were horrible. I like the bow tie. That's a nice change of
The
pace.
stylish.
But some of those suits were like, where'd you get that?
How about Wiggins? Now that's a suit.
Man, I mean,
That's a suit. Chris should have worn that to his wedding.
I thought he was in the circus. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, obviously for people in this area, Syracuse is the big team, and they were curious where Tyler Ennis was going to go, and C.J. Fair, and Jeremy Grant. And Ennis went first. He got drafted by the Suns, which I thought was a good pick. I like the Suns. I mean, from what I've heard about the Suns, they're a team that's kind of like the Spurs. They're very team-oriented. They don't have one-on-one. One guy has the ball and he's trying to just drive inside or shoot from the outside. They do a lot of passing, and I think that'll be good for Ennis. I think it's going to take some time for him, though, to be a solid contributor in the NBA. I mean, Michael Carter-Williams last year, similar type of player, was Rookie of the Year. And who knows, it could happen again, but I'm not really sure about that with Ennis. And then Jeremy Grant was drafted late by the Sixers, and obviously the Sixers, I guess a lot of people are scratching their heads on some of the things they did. That being said, I mean, Jeremy Grant's a project. I could see him being in the D League for a year or two,
Jeremy Grant?
Yeah, Jeremy Grant, yeah. I think so. I think you could see him in the D League. I mean, it's tough to make the NBA if you're the second round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sixers are a young team, and that works for Jeremy Grant's, but you think of someone like Fab Melo,
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened with this guy. I mean, can this be the same thing? I hope not, but you don't know.
Well, it's, I thought Ennis coming out in the draft was fine. Would I have?
I
as a
understand
Syracuse
it.
fan,
Yeah, you would like to see him at least play one more year.
Yeah. To compare him to the Syracuse's previous point guard, Michael Carter-Williams, I think MCW is a better scorer. I think he's a little bit better on the defensive end. Obviously, when it comes to distributing the ball, Ennis is superior in that category, which, really for a team like the Suns is all you need.
Right.
The Suns, had another famous Canadian point guard, Steve Nash, for a long time, and we all know how that turned out. He's certainly one of the best the NBA's seen, really. But with Grant, I mean, the second round pick thing has to be a disappointment. He was projected as maybe a late first round pick, which, boy, if I'm a player like that, I mean, he really, while he played at Syracuse for 2 years, he only had one that he actually was involved in the offense on a regular basis, and to that end, he could have used another year.
Yeah.
He has the skill set, needs some development for sure, mainly his jump shot. I think if he had one more year in Syracuse to really focus on those skills, and he comes out, he is a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because now, like you were saying, you look at a guy like Fab Melo, who, Fab Melo was in a different situation. If he came back to Syracuse,
Yeah, it was
he wouldn't have been
academics.
playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I understand that it's a little bit different, but
Yeah.
I really, I mean, but then
the
you look
same
at
consequence.
CJ. Look at CJ Fair. Here's a
Yeah.
guy who stayed. Okay, stayed for 4 years, and he doesn't get picked.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Fair's game translates into the NBA. He's one of those guys. I think he's too short to be a forward, but he's not quick enough to be a guard. He doesn't have the shooting touch to be a guard. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to him.
And his other problem is that he relies on his strong hand too much.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched any Syracuse games, and I'm sure that you saw this
Yeah.
too, he relied on going to the left a lot.
Yeah.
And he's left-handed, and that's a problem. I mean, even in high school, you hear coaches say, look, you've got to be able to go left, go right, and everything. He was good enough to make it work going left. The good defensive teams picked up on it and really held him. But in the NBA, you're not
Yeah.
going to cut it with.
Yeah, I feel bad for CJ. Seems like a good guy, and you wish him well and everything. But I think it's going to be tough. I think he'll sign a free agent contract with somebody, but he's going to have a heck of a camp to stick on a roster. I think is like the last guy off the bench, so to speak.
I
But
guess he's going to get some time with Dallas's summer league
Yeah.
team. So hey,
maybe playing in
who
Europe,
knows?
maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Eric Dievendorf. Look at Trish.
Brandon
You know,
Trish. Yeah.
and I believe did Rottens go overseas too? I think he
I
might.
believe so,
You know, unfortunately, that's for some of these guys, they don't make it in the NBA. Really, if they're going to make a living playing pro basketball, you got to cross the pond over to Europe. So.
Jerry McNamara had to do that when he was
Right.
when he was still focusing
Well,
on.
I still think McNamara, he got so banged up at Syracuse that his body there's no way he was ever going to play in the NBA. I think he had the shooting skills to be an NBA player,
Yeah.
but unfortunately his body was just completely broken down that it just, he wasn't going to be able to stay healthy. So, you want to wrap it up, Robert? Anything else you want to talk about? I think we've gone on a little bit longer than we might have planned originally.
You've drained me of all my sports knowledge.
You're happy I'm back, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well,
he's thrilled.
Well, I won't be. I'll be able to do the show next week, but in
yes.
a couple weeks, I'll be on vacation.
Yeah.
So
You have to figure out who we're going to get.
yeah,
I'm thinking maybe Jeremy Hodling, maybe.
yeah, he could make his debut.
I know we could talk a little double days,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or maybe maybe we'll get Mike down. No, Mike won't do it. No, Mike won't do it.
Wow.
Oh, God.
That would probably be the most
Oh, my
watched
Lord.
show.
That'd be me just basically talking by myself for 15 minutes. Mike wouldn't say one. Oh, okay. No,
All right, Chris, whatever you say.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up, folks. Thanks for watching. Please don't be afraid to share this link with your friends. We would love the support. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Take care.